What's going on, my plant people? I am the ADHD gardener where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy. And I have pain, lots of it. I have chronic pain and I also have chronic neuropathy from the MS. So that poses a lot of challenges when it comes to gardening. We all know that gardening can be a very laborious task. There's a lot of things that can go into gardening, like bending, carrying stuff, digging up stuff, and that can really play a toll on our bodies, not to mention if you have chronic pain. So over the years, I've had to learn how to adapt and work with the pain because you can't get rid of it, so you gotta learn to work with it. And as much as we don't like it, if we want to continue to garden, that's just what we're gonna have to do. So the first tip that I have for you is a huge one. Huge one. And this has got to be the number one, obviously, which is why it's number one, I guess. But number one is pain relief, pain management. You're going to need pain management before you're going to do any laborious, semi-laborious, something that's going to put, some pressure or, it's going to test your body. You're going to need that pain relief. I'm telling you, pain management is basically, I should have just said this whole video is about pain management. I guess that is. Pain management can come in many forms. You could do pharmaceuticals, which is definitely an option, or you can go all natural, whichever one, whatever works for you and your pain relief. I'm not much on prescription pills anymore, so my method of pain relief is good old medical marijuana. You don't need to use medical cannabis if you don't want to. You can, if you use pharmaceuticals, no problem. I've been down that road myself before. Whatever whatever regimen that you use for pain management, that's what you're going to use. Because there's no way that you're gonna be able to just, even if it's something light in the garden, if you really think that you're gonna be able to handle it and not suffer the consequences of pain, manage that pain first. Take your medication, take your pain medication, take your blunts, take your vapes, take your edibles, whatever you use for pain management, take it. It's going to help you. I'm telling you, not only is it going to help you extend your time, but it's going to ease the pain. Because remember, we're always in pain and you don't want to be in more pain when you're gardening because that would just kind of suck the fun out of it. How fun could it be if you're in like some severe pain? Number two is going to be a back brace. Now this is really more for like the chronic back pain people. I suffer from just terrible amounts of back pain and it's an awful thing. Now what I really got and I needed, and it helps so much, I can't stress enough. This will give you the support needed for your back, whether you're bending, whether you're just standing in place. Wow, the amount of relief it gives you alone in conjunction with your pain management is going to be tolerable and doable. See, you put it here and you strap it up and oh my gosh, there's no way that I'm going to be able to garden without my back brace. It doesn't have to be a back brace. Maybe it could be some other form of support. I guess it depends on the type of pain that you have. But I guess this is more for like chronic back pain people. It doesn't even have to be for chronic back pain. If you want to prevent back pain, then I would suggest a back brace because I'm telling you, it helps. Number three are rest points. Yes, we're going to need to rest. We have to accept the fact that we're going to need rest time. It's just what it is. Especially if you want to garden for an extended period of time, you're going to need to rest. I know it sucks, but that's just what it is. We need to break up the amount of time that we are gardening. If you know that your body can only handle 15 minutes or half an hour at a time before your pain starts acting up, that's it. Give yourself a limit. Half hour, an hour, whatever the case, just limit yourself. Then you're gonna need that time to rest. Just think of your body like a battery. When we're working out in the garden, you can see our battery life going just lowering little by little. So when it's our rest time or our rest period, our batteries are charging up again and we're just going to need it. When you're resting, when you're using pharmaceuticals like pills or whatever the case may be, yeah, you're gonna be feeling pretty good. However, you should still rest. Now, for those that are using natural therapies like me, I am not using any prescription medication. I need even more these rest periods. And this is the time where I would also pain manage myself, again, with vape, edibles, whatever the case, whatever it is, you're going to need to, manage your pain in those rest periods. Now, if you're using pharmaceuticals, then you're probably not going to need to do that, obviously, but you still may need to rest. It's just what it is. Just because you feel invincible on a painkiller, that does not mean that your body won't feel it once that painkiller wears off. So rest is so important. Now, in case you've been noticing, I've been sitting on some chairs. This leads me to tip number 4, is to have somewhere to sit throughout your entire garden. I know that I need these rest periods, right? Let's say you're doing something, you're in the middle of planting, but oh God, your body just can't take it. You want to sit down, you want to rest. Chairs. What I did was I just took a standard outdoor patio set. I just put them all around my garden. I have about 4 different chairs. I have seating and resting places, chairs, everywhere throughout my garden. Because if I need to rest, if I need to just kind of take a breather, when this pain really hits, I can have somewhere to sit down. If you don't want to get dirty, or if you want to avoid sitting on the ground, then chairs, benches, something is the way to go, because I'm telling you, this pain be kicking my ass, and I'm sure it's kicking your ass, and somewhere to sit is really going to help. All right, tip number 5 is going to be knee pads. Yeah, I know, knee pads. Now these are like construction knee pads or whatever. You can find them at any home improvement store. I think you could even find them in Walmart too. These knee pads are super great for those that have like knee pain, or you develop knee pain as you kneel down on the ground way too much, or you don't want to ruin your knees. Whatever it is, knee pads are so helpful. I'm telling you, they will spare you so much pain and so much roughness around your knees if you just use some knee pads. Now, it doesn't have to be these kind of knee pads. It could be something where you can kneel on that could be softer for you. That works also, but I gotta say, these knee pads, not bad at all. Number 6 is getting used to being dirty, getting used to sitting on the ground, getting used to being comfortable in the dirt. Yeah, I know, it's dirty. Yeah, because it's dirt. And as much as we don't want to get dirty, being a gardener, you kind of get dirty a lot, like a lot. You're dirty on your nails, you're dirty with your clothes, you're just dirty in general. But there are times where maybe you don't have a chair. There could be also times where you need to sow some seeds or weed, or do some plant maintenance, and you don't want to bend down, but you don't have a chair that's close enough to the ground. So you may just have to sit in the ground. Minimal bending, minimal strain on your body if you're that close to the ground. I had a lot of onions to plant, but I wasn't gonna bend. I wasn't gonna be hovering over. I want to be able to reduce the amount of back pain. So if I had to get down to the ground and sow them just to reduce the amount of back pain that I get, that's what I'm gonna do. I feel very comfortable in dirt. I don't have a problem with that at all. So this is an option, definite option for me. And it could be an option for you depending on your limitations. Number 7 is sitting low to the ground, okay? It just makes your life so much easier. Don't be confused with the chairs and the rest spots. This does not count, although this could count, I guess, if you want to say for resting. Getting something or finding something that you can use to sit closer to the ground is just make your life easier. Now, mind you, this is if you're planting in the ground. Now, I have here a step stool. It's very close to the ground. You're not completely sitting on it, but it's not that high up. So you can get a little bit of relief if you're sitting on a stool. Now, a lot of these tips that I've already shared, I always have them available. I always have my stool. I always have my pain management. I always have my chairs, my knee pads. For whatever the situation calls for, I have those pieces. I have those aids or help to help me. This walkway is about 6 to 8 inches lower than the rest of the main area. So that means that these are kind of like raised beds. So this works out for me with this cool new thing. Isn't it cool? Now this makes it easier for me because being that this is somewhat of a raised bed, then I'm a lot closer to the ground. I'm a lot closer to the dirt, and that means there's less bending, which means less pain. Number 7 or number 8, I don't remember. But the next one is raised beds. Maybe your situation is different where you can't be on the ground or you can't be this close to it and you have more mobility issues, then a raised bed would be great for you. Now, this is not exactly a raised bed because frankly, I couldn't afford it to have the amount of raised beds that I would need for my garden. But what my boyfriend did was dig down the dirt or the walkways low enough so if I was to have a stool like I'm sitting on right now, then it would be easier for me and less strenuous on my back to sit on this stool and work on the ground, because it's not even that raised up that much. It's about maybe 10 inches off the ground right here. Raised beds is definitely the #1 thing to like, wow, that would be so ideal in an ideal perfect world. If I could have the entire garden raised up, that would be the best. That really gets rid of the back pain. You really don't have to bend. You really don't have to lift up anything, carry anything. My gosh, it's like right there. You know, that is definitely an option. Now, if you can afford it, or maybe you're not gonna go such a larger scale like I have, then, you know, the raised beds is definitely a good idea. This one's a big one, when to ask for help. I know that I am really, really stubborn, like damn, Jack, when will you learn kind of stubborn. However, over the years, I've had to learn. I've had to learn to ask for help. I can't do heavy digging. I can't do heavy lifting, bending like that. I just can't do it. I'm not supposed to be doing any of that stuff. That really hurts my body. That really hurts my back. So I've had to learn to ask wonderful Jose, babe, can you dig that hole for me? Babe, can you pick that up for me? Don't just tell the man or tell the woman to like, yo, can you do that for me or do that for me? Be nice about it. A lot of this stuff is just too painful to do that. And let's say we do that thing that we weren't supposed to do, and then we get the massive amounts of pain, then we're gonna beat ourselves up. Then we're gonna feel the guilt. Just ask, learn to start asking for help. Next one is adaptive tools. As I was doing my research, because maybe I can find some other tools that would help me in my gardening experience, I came across a lot of tools that have been adapted for certain limitations. I got a shovel right here, so I'm going to give you a better visual. Okay, for example, let's say you have wrist problems and the whole action of bending is not really good and it's quite painful. So what I did see, this is just an example for like wrist pain. Now, what it is, they have the shovel, but there's also like a brace that goes around the shovel, and it, you know, kind of like assists and helps your wrist. I know that they have some adaptive tools that you can really look into and inquire about, you know, if you really want to get into gardening. Now, the wrist one was just an example. I don't necessarily know exactly how many or what different kinds that they have, but I know that they exist. I know adaptive tools exist. So you may want to research that and see what options, you know, may benefit you. I think this is number 10. But either way, number 10 is pick the time of the day where your body feels the least amount of pain. That is the time to take advantage of it and then do some gardening. We all know that we would hate to garden when we're feeling like crap. It just sucks the joy out of it, and not to mention it's extremely painful. So you're going to pick the time of the day that suits you the best. That's just how it is. For example, I feel the best in the morning time. I'm not a morning person, however, my pain is manageable in the morning. So what I'm going to be doing is taking advantage of this morning time and working on in my garden. As the day increases, my pain increases as well. So that means that I am not going to be gardening in the afternoon unless you follow the other previous tips where you break up and you rest throughout the day. So you possibly could do that. But my best peak time to do all of this gardening would be in the morning time. A lot of this has to do with a positive outlook. Try to see the positivity that comes out of the gardening. That is what's going to push us and keep us going to do this. That is going to make us want to adapt and get used to this, or manage or find a way that we can continue gardening. Because gardening is my life. Plants are my life. As usual, if you want to show me some love and you like the video, then don't forget to smash that like button. It's awesome. I really love all you guys. If you want to chit chat with me anymore, then I'm on Facebook and Instagram all the time. I just live on social media, I guess. Until the next episode, stay encouraged, you guys. And for all my medical cannabis users, stay high, my peoples, my fellow stoners. And until the next episode, peace and love.